Of nuts, the food nuts. We get a lot of questions actually asking whether nuts are healthy or not and whether you should be eating nuts. The answer is it depends, basically. So there are actually a lot of great benefits to a lot of nuts. Nuts on a micronutrient level are usually typically dense in certain micronutrients, and not all of them are the same. Obviously, there's tons of different nuts that you could eat, but they do contain a lot of good things, and they also contain amino acids, and a lot of vegetarians and vegans like to use nuts for protein. So while we don't disagree on these levels, nuts can have a lot of benefits there. We want to actually focus on the fat profiles of nuts in terms of influencing your hormonal health, because at a certain point, you can get your minerals, your micronutrients, your amino acids from other things. You don't need to get them from nuts. So at that level, you need to look at the types of fats that are in certain nuts. There are some nuts that are good for supporting testosterone, and then there are some that are not good. So today in this video, we're going to break down which are good and which are not. All right, now you might be wondering why some nuts are not as good as others. Here's why. For an unknown reason, some nuts, at least almonds and walnuts, have been found to increase SHBG levels by between 10 and 20%. Since SHBG binds to free testosterone and DHT, rendering them inactive, this would mean that nuts may reduce androgen bioavailability. Many types of nuts are incredibly high in polyunsaturated fats. An increased intake of polyunsaturated fats has been well proven to lower testosterone levels via increased oxidative damage in storage tissues. Now, most nuts are dense in phytosterols, and some consider this a benefit since phytosterols compete with the bodily cholesterol and reduce its levels, but the thing is that all of our natural steroids are actually made from cholesterol, and a high intake of phytosterols has been proven to interfere with this. Now, does this mean that all nuts are to be banned from your diet? Not necessarily. Let's break down a list of what are the good nuts and what are the nuts that you should avoid. First up, the nuts that can beneficially impact your testosterone levels. Macadamia nuts are very high in testosterone-boosting monounsaturated fats, and they contain only about 2% polyunsaturated fatty acids. Brazil nuts are another good option. They're high in pro-testosterone micronutrients like zinc, boron, selenium, magnesium, and they're not overly high in polyunsaturated fats. Tiger nuts, at least in rodents, tiger nuts have been shown to dose-dependently increase testosterone levels, and the mechanism for that is actually unknown. Another good option is horse chestnuts, which contain essin, which can significantly improve the blood flow to your testicles and reduce the rate of varicocele and raise testosterone levels. Now, here are some nuts that we recommend avoiding because they can negatively impact your testosterone levels. First up, pistachios. Now, one study shows how a diet rich in pistachios actually reduced testosterone levels in men, likely due to the high phytosterol content. Another one is walnuts, which are very high in polyunsaturated fatty acids and have been shown to increase SHBG levels, rendering some free testosterone inactive. Also, almonds, which are relatively high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, and likewise have been shown to raise SHBG and thus should lower free testosterone. And last but not least, peanuts, which aren't actually nuts, they're legumes, but they're fairly high in polyunsaturated fats. And they're very high in beta-sitosterol, which has been shown to lower the 5-alpha reductase enzyme and DHT levels.